Hey, what's up? My name is Severman, and for today's video I remade the drop of the Somebody You Loved Martin Garrix / Matisse and Sadko remix by Capaldi. But before we start with the video, I just wanted to say that you can support me now on Patreon. In return, you will get access to all of my FLPs, which are currently, I think, 13, including this one now, 13. Besides that, you'll get in-depth feedback on your music, and I'll also offer one-on-one coaching sessions. So if that's interesting for you, make sure to check out the second link in the description for my Patreon page. And yeah, the first link in the description will be to download this FLP. You can get this one for $5. But let's check out the FLP for now. So let's go. Yeah, so this is what it sounds like. I'm a crazy fan of this remix. I really like the vibe and the emotion. And yeah, it's a really nice festival edit of this original track by Capaldi. But let's check out all the individual stuff. Let me show you how I made this remix. So yeah, at the top we have the leads. So let's start with these. So I bounced these out. So yeah, solely these sound like that. So yeah, in order to show you the individual layers, so I have a bunch of layers right here. It's like 6 layers. And again, as with my other FLPs, also the presets of the third-party plugins, except like 2 pianos and stuff, because I don't know how to export the presets there. But the presets are included also here. So yeah, we got some Nexus presets right here, Spire, and a Flex preset. So yeah, individually, these sound like that. And as you can see, these are routed also to channel 7, and the first one is also routed to channel 8, because I wanted to have more control on the first layer. So with the first one, I made it more mono-ish. I felt like it was too wide. But then let's check out the bass channel. So we have first of all, some stereo widening in order to make the leads really nice and wide, because I felt like out of the presets, the sounds were quite mono-ish still. Then we have some EQing. So yeah, it's like very kind of precise EQing. So in this case, I boosted the 1.4 kHz a little bit, dipped out the lower mids a bit to make them less boomy, and then boosted the highs a tiny bit. And then we got the low and the high cut, so nothing special. Fruity balance for volume automation. And then, as pretty much always, I have the P controller for the reverb on here. And then some low pass filter automation. And then last but not least, the sidechain. So that's pretty much everything about the leads. So next up, we got the bassline. So the bassline is actually quite simple on that one. I only used 2 layers, one sub bass, one mid bass. So it's pretty straightforward. So this is the sub bass. So it's just the Spire preset, and then let's check out the mid bass. This one's also from Spire. So yeah, the sub bass goes to channel 5, and on the sub bass I have this EQ, which I actually turn off, so I didn't actually use that one. Then we have some low pass filter automation also for the sub bass, and some sidechain, so nothing crazy with the processing on this one either. Then let's check out the mid bass. So for the mid bass, we got this low and high cut. So as you can see with this one, I didn't only cut the lows and highs, but I also rolled off the lows because I felt like it had too much of these lower or higher bass frequencies. I felt like these frequencies around 200 hertz were making this particular sound too like muddy and sort of too resonating, because these 200 hertz frequencies, like around that area, can usually, like, that tend to sound quite muddy. And by dipping these out a bit, like rolling them off, I just got a bit of a cleaner sound in this case, you know. But it always depends on the sound. So if the sound lacks these frequencies, you might want to consider boosting them. You know, it's always just about like using your ears in the end and referencing your sounds to other tracks in order to get like an objective view onto your track. Then we got again a stereo enhancer, because with this mid bass I wanted to have it wide as well. But be careful with your sub bass, because you don't want to have that one in stereo. So it should mostly be mono, because if you have your sub or lower frequencies in stereo, will cause like phasing issues, and then you'll basically end up with no bass when you listen to it back on a mono system. So be careful with that. But you can create a wide bass line by basically making your mid bass wide, so that works. Then we have a low pass filter again for automation, and cross beat again for the sidechain. So that's pretty much it with the bass line. So it's very straightforward. And actually, one thing that I forgot about the leads, what's special with these is the pitch automation actually. So as you can see, this is like the pitch automation, and this last note is sort of gliding in the remix of Martin Garrix and Matisse and Sadko. So I tried to recreate this as well. So if you kind of pay close attention to this note right here, so without the glide it would sound like that. So the glide just makes it a bit more interesting, and it's also a tip how to make your leads or your melody more interesting by using pitch automations. It's a quite common thing for bass lines in progressive house, but you can also do this with leads, as you can see. So it makes it really helps to make them a bit more interesting. But yeah, let's continue. So next up we got the chords. So this is what they what the MIDI looks like in the piano roll, if you want to check that out. Then for the sounds, also the chords are pretty straightforward. Like you know me, I don't like to do like crazy layering, except like sometimes for the leads. But for the bass lines and the chords, I usually keep it simple. So this is the first layer for the chords. So this one's gated, but both are like saw type of sounds. Then the third one is a string, I believe. No, actually a choir from the Labs plugin. Also, let's check out the processing of these. So these go to channel 9. So as you can see, it's the core bass channel. So we have some EQing with these, boosting the high end a bit. Also with the chords, you need to be careful. Like, it's actually more common to reduce highs in the chords in order to make more room for your leads in the mix and for like rides, downlifters and stuff. But in this case, I just felt like boosting the chords gives them more presence in the mix. Then we got the second EQ for the low and the high cut. Also with these, I rolled off the lower frequencies, like for the same reason as we have with the mid bass. Then I made them slightly wider as well, but just like tiny bit. Then again, we have the P controller with the reverb on the chords and some sidechain with gross beat, and again a low pass filter for automation. Alright, then I have one more like ambient piano in there, which is playing only one note, this D sharp right here. So it's really just in the background with a lot of reverb, but check it out. So it's, yeah, as I said, like in the background, just adding a little bit of emotion by playing this one note. So yeah, we have some EQing again here, also low on the high cut. It's really nothing special. And then what I mentioned, the reverb. So I actually cranked up the wet signal, and then I really spread out the reverb in order to have really in order to have it really wide on the sides. And yeah, this helps to really put it like into the background, not have it clash with the leads and the chords, in order to really create room for these elements. And then I added some sound godizer in order to just compress the piano a bit, because with that reverb, I was losing volume too quick, I thought. So with the compressor, I'm just kind of keeping the reverb up for a longer time, if that makes sense. And then we have the sidechain here. So yeah, that's it pretty much with like the melodic stuff. And then down here, we basically have all the drums. So we have the kick drum and some snares in the build-up right here. Oh, there's actually also a kick right here. So on the kick, I literally just did like a tiny bit of EQing. Then we have a crash here. And another crash. Then we have some rides down here, some downlifters, all of these sounds, some tiny uplifters. Then this is a tom down here. Then we have a snap, some snares, fill snares right here. So yeah, let me show you all these. Then down here we have some more like fill sounds, and these are also quite typical for Matisse and Garrix and Matisse and Sadko especially. Like they use a lot of fill sounds in their drops, which really makes it more special and interesting. So let's check these out as well. Yeah, then here we have another downlifter, some more claps and a hi-hat. And then all of these are like snares, and got an impact right here. Another clap and stuff like for the build up. Another uplifter down here. And then the last element down here is the vocal. So what they did, they sort of chopped up the vocals and panned them in the second half of the drop to the sides and kind of repeated them. So like that basically. Man, I really like this remix. Too bad that they couldn't like officially release the remix. I don't know what the reason was behind this. I don't know. But yeah, I really like this remix, and that's why I decided to remake this one for you guys. So again, you can get this one for $5. Check out the first link in the description for that. So yeah, I hope you liked this little FLP again. And if you did so, make sure to leave that thumbs up, leave a comment with your feedback, subscribe if you haven't. And also don't forget to check out my Patreon page. It's the second link in the description. And I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.